that answers.
It is 1:30, so we will officially open the meeting, because we like to be timely. And welcome, everyone. It's nice to see everyone. Hi, Barbara McRae. I didn't see you walk in, so welcome. We're honored today, too. We have our new town administrator with us, Nina Nazarian. So, and I'm assuming most people, maybe you haven't met everyone that's here, but this is this attractive young lady sitting up in the front is Nina. So, for anyone that hasn't met her yet. So.
You're too kind, thank you.
All right, and we have one board member who will be coming, but he's going to be a little late. He got detained. So, we will proceed. And our usual reminder, this is an open meeting, and we must adhere to the open meeting laws. Just always like to get that out there for everyone. And I'll ask the board members, do you have any announcements to make?
Yes.
Yes, we have an announcement.
Couple, I got an update on the senior housing for the two developments that are proposed on Spectacle Pond Road.
Okay.
Weber Village, as it's called. It was approved and it's been signed off by the planning board now. The 19 units, 8 single-family units, 2 family units, now
Wait a
approved.
minute, slow down.
So development and construction are ready to start.
Would you repeat the number of units, please?
Yes, 19 units, 8 single-family units, and 8 single units, and 2 family units. That's up behind Weber's, near the high school. And the Jones Meadow, which is out, Cricket Lane near Spectacle Pond, that's 17 senior cottages. That's been approved, and that now has already started construction. So that's a lot of progress since the last report I gave.
Want to give me the second one?
17 cottage
The
units
second one.
that are single.
Jones Meadow, Jones Meadow, out on Cricket Lane, 17 units. So I thought before we took a break, hopefully maybe,
Well, that's exciting
everybody
news.
would want to know that.
Yes, it's very exciting news for everyone, all of our viewers and all of us. That's progress. So hopefully it will be a good thing for everybody, for seniors especially.
Having gone to many planning boards over the last year, it's been a long, hard
It's a slow process.
conversation, should we say.
I think that's the best way to describe it, a very slow process, but progress is being made. So, excuse me, ladies.
No.
Is that something you want to share, ladies?
Yes, we have a question. So Weber Village, you said it was approved for 19 units?
No, Weber unit,
Yes.
19 units, 8 single-family units,
Yeah,
and 8 family units. I guess their additions are off, should be 16.
Oh, okay.
She typed it wrong, sorry.
That's 8 and 8.
And 17 out on Cricket Lane.
so where are
Thank
the
you.
rest on the 19 units? You said 8 and 8,
That's 16.
that's 16.
Sorry,
16
it's a
units.
typo,
Okay,
sorry.
that's okay.
Yeah, there's not a huge amount of space on Cricket Lane there.
Could I see your report?
Okay.
Patty,
Yes.
Bob,
Can I
is
see
asked,
the-
Bob is
Can
asking.
I see the report?
Oh,
I just want to make sure I get the names right.
Yes.
Can I just
Announcement?
say that, yes.
All right.
Littleton's Memory Cafe will be meets every month on the third Saturday of each month. And I think that this month is on the 23rd, and it's open to anybody. And we hope that, folks will come and see us. It's from 10 to noontime, and we have time for food and fun and fellowship, and we have some activities going on, sometimes entertainment, sometimes we have games but it's different every month. so.
Explain to people, maybe Andy, why it would be helpful to come, or what kinds of,
Okay. The Memory Cafe is folks with changing memory issues and their caretakers. And also, right now, we're welcoming any older person who would like to come, but it's not specifically, it's specifically really for folks with memory issues. And we, this past month, we had a ventriloquist come, and he was wonderful, and so just let everybody know, the third Saturday of every month.
and it's held at the Baptist Church
Baptist Church.
on the Common. Yes, Maureen?
Just as an update, the diner, the cafe across the street on Tuesdays, we've been going there now. It's probably close to 2 years.
At least, I
that
think,
we've
yeah.
been going there for lunch on Tuesday. And because of the continued increased rise in costs of food, it has gone up from $3 to $5 for seniors.
On
So just so-
Tuesdays.
Yeah, on Tuesdays.
But it's still such a great deal.
Oh, it is.
If you haven't been to the cafe, right across from Shattuck Street practically, by the Neshoba Garage, in that little plaza, kind of, do stop in on a Tuesday, any seniors, and you pick from the menu for $5. So, it is, she has wonderful food.
She
But
does.
additional charges for drinks.
For drinks, or water, you can get water. But, I mean, she has salads and sandwiches, and it's a great
Sometimes
social
hot.
time.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people there,
Mhm.
that you know, so.
We certainly do.
Yep. And Andrea has been a great supporter of seniors, so we need to support that and thank her. And as well, just another reminder, we announced last month that Jamie Cruz has started her program for seniors again at her stand at Springdale Farm. And that's every Tuesday. Make sure you stop by, tell her you're interested if you have not already gone this year. And she will give you a bag for $14. And she guarantees there's $20 worth of food in the bag. And you take the bag back every Tuesday, and she fills it with more things. She chooses what she's putting in. And then she also, this year, has started a card, and she keeps it on file there. And if you remind her, you have her fill out a card in your name, she will take it out and she punches a hole in the bottom. She's got these circles, and when she does 12 punches, you get it the next week free. So it's a wonderful way that she supports seniors, and it has been in the early spring, when she started about 4 or 5 weeks ago now, I think. And she's had meat, and of course they have their own meat, and and it's just wonderful, as well as produce that she has available, but the locally grown things will be coming in soon. Strawberries will be in. I'm sure we'll see some strawberries soon, so.
Just to add to that, she does like to recycle her containers, so
Right.
everyone should return them if they can.
She gives you eggs, they're fresh. It's just a wonderful opportunity, so. Get that out to people. And the other thing, there's another, I didn't look for it, but, and Barbara McCray probably will speak to this, but the TV, LCTV is having an open house, correct, Barbara?
Yes.
And I forget the date, but I think, is that in here? I didn't look for it myself. Do you know the date offhand?
Yeah, I have the flyers with me,
I thought we had one.
if I can find them.
Nope. Okay, but that's okay. You can, maybe when you come up and give the
Yeah.
Friends report, you can enlighten people about that.
Okay, it's the 19th of June, 6 o'clock to 8 p.m. in the studio.
So if people are interested in seeing, they do great work. I would encourage people to stop by and say hello. And finally, my announcement, last two things. Well, today we have a celebration and a little bit of sadness because one of our board members is stepping down. Mary C. is stepping down after 32 years of service.
Just numbers, that's all. I don't remember anything.
She doesn't remember anything. But we are glad that she is finally, said to herself, I need to spend some time with myself and my husband. And we will miss her, but we have in her honor, back on the back table by the water bubbler there, some goodies. So please help yourself at any time, get up and go, please. We don't want to take it home. So please go back and help yourself and have a snack whenever you feel like it. And the other thing we're celebrating is in thanking Bob Stetson, who is stepping down as secretary this year after, I don't know, how many years, Bob? So, he doesn't even, he's been doing it, but he was secretary when I first joined the board myself. So, and he has been since, and I'm sure he was for several years before that, so. Thank you, Bob. He is staying on with us, though, just relinquishing that duty. So, we're grateful, and we're thanking you too for that service to the board. That's not an easy job, taking minutes and getting them out, so. All right, I think that's all I have for announcements. Did I trigger any other thoughts from anyone? Nope. If not, then let's move on. And we have the May 13th COA board meeting minutes to approve. I think we have a few corrections. Is that
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Maureen, I know said she found a couple of things. Are you ready, Bob?
Oh, slowly. Go ahead.
Okay, under new business, on the, it says that the membership subcommittee will be reviewing rules and regulations before the next meeting. It's the last sentence, or the next to last sentence.
Under what heading, A, B, or C?
Right here, new business.
A.
5A.
Yeah, well, we're reviewing, okay, go ahead, I got that.
So it's not the membership subcommittee. It was Patty, Liz, and Marge.
The chair, vice chair, and the director. Anyone else have a correction? Okay.
There
Wait,
is
just
one,
okay, just wait 1 second till he's done, I think. You all set? Okay.
which Maureen also found on section B. You named it Patty Hunt, and it's Paddy, P-A-D-D-I-E.
Just a typo.
Just, yeah.
Okay,
just-
where is this?
Section
5B.
B. You're listing who is, for each month for the third Thursday.
Okay,
July, it's Patty, P-A-D-D-I-E, not P-A-T-T-I-E.
No one knows how to spell my name.
I know, well, we do.
It's right there.
okay,
And
it?
above that, on the first sentence, it says Maureen will work with the Friends to provide appropriate information to people who will be visiting the booth. I don't believe it's me.
I don't remember that at all.
No me.
No, because the Friends are having their own booth 1 month at.
Right, in August, I
Yeah, I
believe.
think in August, but not necessarily having
Yeah.
information at our.
Yeah,
So
I don't
that
remember
whole
that.
thing should be taken out, right?
Delete, I think.
whole sentence should be just taken out.
correct.
One person, one board person and the director, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
One board person and the director will be at the booth, at the table.
The discussion was, I think, if I remember correctly, that we were asking who would work with the Friends to provide information, and I thought Maureen had said she would, but, okay.
Yeah, no, not me, honey.
Do you remember that, Barbara?
She wasn't here.
She
No,
wasn't
she
here.
wasn't here that day, okay. No, I don't think so either. I
And the
don't
people who
remember.
were here aren't here, so.
Well, from the Friends.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly.
I don't remember, I remember there was discussion, I'm sorry,
I have one.
go ahead.
On page 2, 8, other business. I think the last sentence of the first paragraph, I don't think the word concern was meant to be there. I think maybe it should be appreciation versus
Yeah.
concern.
Appreciation is good. Or
I
delight.
thought concern was a good word. Maria and I have been friends for years. Thank you.
You've got her speechless here now, Bob. I don't know.
Okay, I got them all.
Madam Chair, I move the minutes be approved as corrected.
Any other further discussion first, before we move on to that?
I second.
Oh, okay. Now I should have said any other further discussion, but anyway, I apologize. Okay. No, hearing none. All those in favor of accepting the minutes as corrected?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous vote, Bob. Thank you all. All right. Barbara McCray, come forward, please.
Okay. All right, so, first of all, the friends are all ready and looking forward to the new season and the new, lunches that we'll be doing. We're anxious to meet old friends and hopefully some new ones at our themed lunches. And also, we're looking forward to supporting the COA director and the outreach requests. So I'm going to throw in a little, ad about the thrift shop here. Come in and, use our thrift shop so that we can, and we're hoping that people will spend all they have there so that we will have the income to support the things that we need to and want to. Our first luncheon is September. It'll be September 18th, and it will be a 50s hop, and we're going to have live music. So try to get out your poodle skirts and leather sweaters and join us. Or go to the thrift shop and buy something and make an outfit for it. So it's September 18th. You can call the COA office, but not before September 3rd. Does that sound good?
That first Monday in September.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's
I don't know,
Labor Day.
it's probably the
That's
third.
It is the 3rd. I
Or,
looked.
okay, the first day in September that we're open.
Good.
It's Tuesday the 3rd.
Tuesday the 3rd.
Okay. And this time, we're charging $5 for the lunch. We may be doing that every month now because the costs are, it sounds terrible, everybody says the same thing, costs are going up, so we have to raise our prices, and I always hate the sound of that, but here I'm doing it
It's
too.
reality.
But anyway, that's what it'll be. The other thing I want to mention is that we have a new board member, and that's Sandra Cassell. She took over management of the thrift shop for me. She's wonderful at it, and she's going to be a great addition to our board. So I'm looking forward to having her there. She's already thrown out some ideas, so she'll be an active member, I'm sure. The other thing is I do want to thank people while I'm here who voted yes for the money to look into a senior center. I'm really happy about that. It's a beginning, and I want to thank everyone really, really out there, wherever they are. We really appreciate it. So that's my news for the day.
That's the news for the day.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice.
Yeah.
Good news.
And we are, you mentioned third Thursday, and that's,
Right.
August is our month.
You are gonna do it in August, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I hope, and have a table near the COA so that it will help us
yeah.
work
yeah.
together, but,
We're next door to
Tim's
each
on
other.
it. They'll happen, don't
Put you
worry.
right next door to each other.
great. Because, we talked about having a table together, but people don't understand the difference between the friends and the board.
Yeah.
And so we thought it best, as it turns out, to have separate tables,
Separate
yeah.
information.
be together.
Easy,
Yeah.
we can do that.
I'm
Easy peasy.
finding out all the time, even recently, that someone wanted to do something and didn't understand there was a difference.
There is a difference, and it is not clearly understood by everyone, so.
It doesn't mean we're different in
No.
working together.
And we all are here for the same purpose.
Right, right,
It's just that we have different duties.
yeah.
Barbara, how do you spell Sandra's last name?
I'm sorry?
How do you spell Sandra's last name?
C-A-S-A-L-E, Casal,
Thank you.
okay? I don't think I have anything else.
Great, well, thank you.
Okay,
Excuse me. Thank you for coming.
if I can get out of there.
All right. It's always nice to get an update from the Friends, so we know what's happening. Then moving on to old business, and I do not have an update from the Town Building and Space Needs Analysis Working Group. They're still working on things.
Have they
And
met?
so
Have they met?
no, we have not had a meeting lately, but they are in the process of getting, reorganizing. I think now that, Nina's here and Anthony's not wearing two hats and, I think maybe things might start to pick up a little bit. So I'm not worried.
Out of fairness to Anthony, he's still carrying a lot of water, so,
Oh.
until I get up to speed, so please continue to bear with us.
And I don't know that I announced on TV, actually, I should be ashamed of myself, but to our viewers, that we are really fortunate in having Nina attend our meeting today and spend some time with us, so.
Thank
She
you.
is going to be a staunch supporter of the needs and meeting the needs of seniors, I know, so she's well informed, I think, so. Okay. That's good then, we can move on to new business and we have several items. And the first is to invite Alicia, are you the presenter here? We have PRCE with us because of a special town meeting
Absolutely.
that is happening on June 26th. And I really would like to, I'll put in my 2 cents in and then everybody else can,
Absolutely.
but encourage all of our viewers to attend that meeting. It's critically important to the town. And Alicia's here to talk about that and explain, I think, some of the things that are going on and what it's all about, because it is confusing to people.
It is indeed.
Yep. So we welcome you. Thank you.
Thanks for letting me be here. I guess, did anybody else have any input before I get started?
No.
Nope. Okay. And,
They may have to after you start, though.
oh, yeah, I know, we'll do questions after. So what I'll end up doing is, we've presented this at the Board of Selectmen, the Library Commission, as well as, the school committee. So Tim back there has helped me out with this while I was absent last week, so thank him a lot for doing that. So if some of this is familiar, you can tell me to move on if I'm, repeating information that you've already had. But I kind of wanted to go through and give an explanation about the history of this petition, how we got to where we were. And I will start off by going through kind of sentence by sentence what the petition's actually asking for, so we can clarify that for all of you. And if you have questions, you can feel free to stop me as we go through this. So we have it written out. You can look on one of the TV screens, but I can read it out for you as well. So the first line of the petition essentially is it's remarking on how the town system currently already works. So there's not a big change, nothing different there. Essentially, it's saying that boards and committees that are in care and custody of a facility or an open space, that they should have the ability to rent or allow use of that said property as care and custody of being that board. So, and that's how I believe every board currently operates. Park Commission, you have to fill out an application if you're gonna use one of the parks. I know the police department does the same kind of thing when you wanna use the community room. So currently, this is how all, as far as I'm aware, town departments do already currently operate. So not much going on that one. Second line here. So this is where we start getting into a little bit of confusion, because there's a lot of vague words that are used in this petition. So, and this is my understanding of it. I've talked to town council a little bit about this. So he will definitely, give more information on his understanding of the petition at the town meeting. But, so essentially this one here, it's kind of establishing, to me, it sounds like it's establishing a hierarchy that puts the needs of nonprofits over all other users, right? So, for example, what is that gonna look like in the future? If your board needs to meet, but let's say the Girl Scouts wanted to be in here, do they get the priority to be in here in that, your board meeting gets moved elsewhere? It's not clearly stated in there. So that's something that, we have to figure out what that hierarchy would be. Nonprofits are wonderful, we want to work with them, we want to give them space, but we're also, you are a representative of a government board, and you do have a limited time, and you need to get your work done. So I think there's a difference with priority level there. It's really vague as far as residential status. When it talks about community groups, is it talking about here in Littleton specifically? Or are they talking about Neshoba Valley? Are they talking about, multiple towns? There's not specific wording that really talks about that. And the other thing that very much affects this board is that it focuses specifically on a statement that says groups that serve the needs of youth should have priority, right? So, and that, we perceive that as being an ageist statement. That's not all the people that live here in town. That's not appropriate. So the very last sentence on there does specifically say, particularly those groups that serve the needs of youth of the region. And again, region, right? What are we talking about here? State of Massachusetts? Are we talking about our county? Are we talking about Littleton? So a bit vague on what that bracket is. So, this is just the second line here where we have some really serious inconsistencies and questions about how this petition should actually work. All right. So 3 here. So 3 kind of hits at the memorandum of understanding that the Parks Department, the school board, and the Board of Selectmen have. So I just wanted to be very clear about what that MOU or the memorandum of understanding is. And that is specifically agreement amongst all 3 boards, with kind of the Board of Selectmen sort of overseeing the process. And simply it means that the schools will allow Parks and Rec to use space because of our space needs issues, to use space in the schools if the Parks Department takes care of the athletic fields. That's all the MOU is. The school committee has 100% control over the school facilities. So at no time could we ever come in and say no, you can't run that program. That's up to the school committee, as where, they couldn't come in and tell us at the parks, well, we can't run that. It does not work that way whatsoever, as the first sentence had implied, that all of the boards that have care and custody over those specific facilities should do, and I would hope that they continue to do so in the future. So that is the 3rd line.
So, Alicia.
Yeah.
Whoa. They're going far too fast.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Put it back again.
Yeah, you got
Go
it.
back to the one before that.
And I can give this to you. You can have a copy of this
Okay, fine.
100%, so you don't have to
That's
type
great.
this down.
That would be wonderful.
Yes. On 2, where are you at?
Go ahead, Jeff, go.
Yeah?
You're gonna give
As long
them
as
a
you're gonna
copy.
give
I will.
You're gonna give me a copy.
Absolutely. Yes, I should have started off by saying that. Tim, what were you gonna
I
add?
was just gonna say, so one of the things that was discussed at the school committee, which I went to that meeting on Thursday, was, also the mention that one of the things that's referenced on the Free Littleton website is the MOU specifically. And I think one of the things that's most misunderstood is that Park and Rec is, kind of being said that we're barring people from doing things, which is as far from the truth as it could possibly be.
Right.
But in this understanding, so that everybody's 100% clear on it, the school department used to run community education, and at one point that was turned over to Park and Recreation. So there is a statement in there about that, neither entity, the school and Park and Rec, will do anything that adversely affects each other. So you know, when it kind of started up and Kelly became, Park and Rec used to run the SAT course. Well, the school took that back over because that made more sense. We, you know, do certain classes. So we're not going to do anything that's in direct competition with each other just because, you know, that's our agreement between the two boards. And that's really where that is. That has nothing to do with any other entities that are trying to misinterpret what that agreement is.
All right. So then, line 4 here, which is the summation of this article, it's completely contradictory to itself. We highlighted some of the pieces on here. So essentially, it's saying you can't deny, however, you can deny.
Alicia, could you
Yes.
just read that, so
I-
just so we could just hear it?
Absolutely. So the full summation. That an event or program that is similar to any parks, recreation, and community education events shall not be grounds to deny the use of any town-owned property. Hold on one second. Schoolhouse, it hopped here for a second. The use of any town-owned property, provided however, that the rental of any park, playground, public buildings, schoolhouse, or school grounds will not be allowed if it directly interferes with student activities, school-related functions, or any parks, recreation, and community education offerings or events. Okay, so it contradicts itself. So that's one of the big first issues that we have with this. Second is that it singles out the Parks and Recreation Department specifically, so it's a non-inclusive article. And what that means is it could have serious consequences for other boards and committees that are not included in this. So, you know, it's a dangerous precedent to be able to talk about the usage of future buildings. You know, when you guys talk about a possibility of a senior center, right? If you're not part of or included in this article, what does that mean to you? Are you gonna have control over what that means? This whole article is so vague that it could be interpreted in so many different ways. So that's kind of the summation of talking about each of these individual lines. It's only 4 lines, but, so I think I'll stop right there and ask if you have any questions specifically about this petition, and then I can go on to the history of how we got here.
I'm assuming that you think it's unacceptable.
I would, and that's one thing, the reason that I'm here today is I would ask that the board take a vote to not approve this voter petition. Because again, I personally feel that it's not worded well. There's way too much leeway in what is being stated here. The reality is that a lot of the stuff that I think this individual that it's coming from, who is an outside person, not a resident of Littleton, you know, that's up to us as department heads and us as committees to work with each other. That's the government process for us to work together. I can understand that, you know, we want to make sure that we're all going to work together, and that's fine. We could come up with some sort of bylaw focusing on that, but this specific one is just, it's, in my personal opinion, I don't feel this.
From what I received in the mail, I understand that the Board of Selectmen it does not
they don't
agree with
approve
it,
it.
but that's all it says.
No.
So, and I was gonna go through that. So, Tim, this past week, met with the Board of Selectmen. He met with the school committee and with the library trustees, and all 3 of them voted to not support this article.
He just wants to say something behind
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, so just kind of having been at those meetings, the one, you know, resounding thing that I think everyone is in agreement with is, you know, this is a bylaw that's gonna be put forth and, you know, instituted by the town. And the lack of clarity, the lack of the correct language, if you will, that, you know, provides an understanding that there's no room for interpretation. I think that was a resounding thing that came from each of the boards that we spoke to, was there's too much room for interpretation, there's too much, you know, one person could read it one way, one person could read it another way to implement as a bylaw to put it in there. You know, the other thing is, when it comes to creating a bylaw, do we really want to create a bylaw that, you know, as Alicia stated, kind of singles out one department, but also opens the door for, in this instance, an out-of-town businessman to be able to come in and dictate how we are going to set policy in the town?
Has this petition gone to our town council?
It has.
Has that person responded yet?
They have. Nina, do you wanna?
Sure, I'd be glad to. Good question, Patty. At this stage, town council has opined on it, but the information is in executive session and is under attorney-client privilege. At this stage, the Board of Selectmen has not had an opportunity to discuss this matter, and frankly, by discussing it, they would waive any attorney-client privilege. So I'm not sure what path all of this will take at this point in time, but we certainly have gone through, the board has gone through the due diligence to have it reviewed. And, you know, if there's information that we can share, we certainly will.
It's an
There's
awfully...
no monetary exchange here at all, right?
Could you clarify what you mean by that?
There would be nothing established to give preference for usage of different areas if they provided funds for that.
So the way that I interpret this, this was line 2, that it would give preference to nonprofit organizations over all other users.
Nonprofit, right,
Yeah.
first,
Mhm.
right.
But that's excluding, again, like I said before, government boards or town departments.
Yeah.
Way too ambiguous.
It's very ambiguous.
It shouldn't even be brought to the town, in my opinion.
Yeah. But that's, you know, the beauty of our democratic process,
I
right?
agree.
So if someone had a concern, we had 200 signatures, it came through, it's going through the process as it's set up to be. So, you know, it's unfortunate that it has to be a special town meeting because there's, you know, costs that occur to the town.
$15,000.
Yeah. Yep.
So we all need to go to town meeting and vote no.
So I can, oh yeah, go ahead.
No.
Oh, yes.
Sure. Madam Chair, I just don't understand what we're supposed to do. This has been informative, but why would we take a vote to be against the petition? What's the responsibility of our board? I can understand Park and Recs, I can understand the school, I can understand, what was the third one?
The library.
The library, because each of them has space of their,
Well, we're going to have space someday, as Alicia has said. We will have space. We're confident about that, so.
okay.
Tim?
So, Bob, I think a very good point is, you know, in the limited space we have, one of the things that we do very well is, you know, Council on Aging runs programming and Park and Rec runs programming. So I think the multi-purpose room is a perfect example of a space that can be taken away.
Right.
Or, you know, depending on how this is interpreted and what, you know, if there is, you know, this hierarchy, and I say if because no one knows, because this is so poorly written, how it's gonna be interpreted if it became, but, you know, for the use of, it covers everything, town-owned property, land, parks, schools, you name it. I mean, technically, this is a school building, as far as town hall, so that's why it matters to every board. It's the precedent of how we are going to rent space, how space is to be used, and because it's so vague, we don't know how that's gonna impact everybody, but that's why we're asking all the boards to do that, because it could impact somebody.
Yes, Anita?
The comment that I have is, if this were to happen and it's very vague, as it is, when we don't have the ability in this town hall to totally secure it, and so if you're in one section of the town hall, you can't lock everything else down. And if people from out of town come in, we don't know what kind of damage or destruction that could happen to areas that cannot be locked and be safe. So the biggest thing I think is, this is somebody from out of town trying to change the way we do things in this town. So we need to think long and hard on whether we want that kind of government, and I don't think the majority of us do. So I would encourage everybody to vote no at town meeting.
I also, oh, go ahead, Mary.
I have a question. The person that brought this petition,
Mhm.
are they a profit or non-profit organization?
They have.
That's an ambiguous question. The person who brought the petition or the person who the petition is about?
Correct, yeah.
Well, whatever.
So
you know.
there's
Two
a,
different things.
and I can explain that, so I can go through the history a little bit, but I'll answer your two questions first. So it's, Liz Armento is the person who put the petition out there. And she's a like residential proxy of a Marcus Lewis, who's the.
And she had 200 backers, according to that.
Correct. So they, over the
200.
past year, they have gone out to get signatures. And so they've gone to places like Market Basket or the transfer station, things like that, and just kind of sat outside and talked to folks. So.
Excuse me, who is this?
So the individual, the business person that is behind this, his name is Marcus Lewis.
Yeah.
And so he owns a tennis facility in the region. And so he's also the high school tennis coach. And so I think the person that put in the petition, it sounds like her husband works like a coach, volunteers with him, and their daughter is on the tennis team as well.
Okay, that's fine. I just didn't understand.
Yeah, thank you for asking the clarifying questions.
Just want
Yes.
to make a comment. This morning, I believe, or over the weekend, Mr. Lewis sent out an email to maybe some seniors or the Friends Board. I'm not sure exactly who received it, but I got some phone
Interesting.
calls.
Okay.
He just references Liz in the email, and that's not me, Liz. That's Liz, the person who put forward the petition. So if anyone
Gotcha.
got that email, he's not talking about
Wow.
COA Liz.
Did the library vote on this?
They did, and they voted to not support this.
You know, if I could just say something too, it's not like we have bountiful space available in this town. And here we are, you know, struggling with the space committee, trying to find space for everyone, park and rec, and even the school department, you know? And so it just befuddles me that anybody would think, other than, you know, saying, no, we have enough trouble with lack of space right now.
Right.
So yes, Tim.
So I think one of
Just
the.
want to make sure I get this correct. Park and Recreation, the school board, the library board have all voted not to support the petition. The selectmen have
As
not.
well as the Board of Selectmen,
How
yep.
about the planning board?
We have not gone to the planning board. We have, Park Commission is gonna be tomorrow night, and then we also have Conservation Commission, on the 17th, yep.
Tim, you
So
had.
I think one of the things that was very enlightening in the Board of Selectmen meeting was we did have a group of seniors come, I think it was about 6
Oh.
or 7. And the original, Marcus was invited to the Friends of meeting, I believe, if I don't want to misspeak.
Like a year ago?
About a year ago.
Yeah.
January.
And a large contingent of the signatures that were collected specifically at that meeting, the group specifically that came to the Board of Selectmen meeting had voiced their opinion that they kind of felt conned, that they were kind of given a not the truth. It was also stated that the petition had a cover letter over it, so none of them were actually ever given the petition to read before they signed. So you can go back and watch the Board of Selectmen meeting and hear it directly from the ladies who were there. But we have, gotten this feedback kind of as we've gone down through this process that that has been kind of one of the underlying tones is it's a little nefarious and not open and honest with the information that's being put out there.
So what you're essentially doing is asking us to consider the possibility of voting not to support it.
That is correct.
As a board.
As a board,
It
that's
would
correct.
be based mainly on the language of it being so ambiguous. That's what would be voted for most likely.
So it's that
Not
and
necessarily.
setting a precedent of allowing an outside business person to dictate what the
Right.
bylaw is gonna be.
That's a disturbing piece of things, I think.
We'll get to that in a
Madam
minute, and I'll
Chair?
spend my time getting her to get it right.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna need the help.
Madam Chair, through you to the director. Is there anything legality-wise that would prevent us from voting about our position? I know that sometimes we haven't been able to vote one way or another on something. So I'm just asking, is there anything that would prevent us from taking a board stance on this?
That's a good question, but not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Nina may
Okay.
have some input on that too.
I have the same comment as Liz, not to my knowledge.
Okay,
Go
perfect.
as an individual, not the board.
No, it is the board.
We're talking
Yeah,
about the
no,
board,
that
I
is the
know.
board. Give it a try.
That being the case. That
I
being,
saw the executive for the town waving her head saying, no, there's nothing. So go ahead.
that being the case,
You're gonna take a stab at it,
I
making a
am.
motion? Here we go.
I move,
Slowly.
Slowly.
I move that the Council on Aging Board
Now, wait a minute. That the,
Council on Aging Board
yeah,
vote not to approve the petition.
Not to support.
Oh, not to support, thank you. Not to support the petition.
No,
No. What petition
it's
and what?
not the petition, it's the article.
It is an article.
It's a voter's petition that they've created an article from, so.
So is it the article that we're not supporting?
It would be either, so the voters petition, which they will, yeah. Do you, Nina, do you know what the language of it, does it matter if it's the voters petition or the article, how they word it?
I'm sorry, I missed a part of the question.
That's okay, so they're talking about creating the motion, and does it matter if it says voters petition or article?
Or can it be both? Can you slash it?
I think as long as it's clear, the exact language of the motion is not as,
We're not,
as important. It's that it's clear, whatever language is used to make the motion, that the motion be clear that it's what it's saying. How the actual words are transcribed, I think you can come up with a number of variations that would be acceptable.
Maureen, if you agree, here's what I put down.
Wait a minute,
Wait a
excuse me,
minute.
David has a comment.
Maureen, can you just, before you finish the sentence, just hold your motion? Okay, so we're here to vote on this subject, okay? An article has been placed before the town. We read the article, it's been explained to us, okay? The article is very ambiguous. The petition is just a citizen's petition that was turned in to put this on the agenda at the town meeting, okay? So I don't see how we could be against the petition, that part doesn't really matter, I don't think.
The article.
But the language in the article is very ambiguous, and I believe that you would find if you check the minutes for the library, you find that they voted not to support it based on the ambiguity, extreme ambiguity of the language.
So
If I was gonna,
backing up,
Refer to it as the article. The article.
the Article 1, what am I?
the article,
The article, okay.
The article.
Okay, back again. I move that the Council on Aging vote,
Board.
board, vote not to support the article presented
in the special town
for the
meeting.
special town meeting on June 26th, 2019.
Very good.
I'll second that.
Okay,
Very
All
clear.
right.
Very clear.
Well done, yes.
well, we had to get it right.
We,
Pressure.
You need to vote for it.
yes, we do.
It's June 26th, right?
It
June
is
26th.
26th.
Didn't I say that?
Yes, you did.
You
You
did.
did. So, we have a motion.
It has been seconded.
And it has been seconded by David Sill to, that the COA board will vote not to support the article presented in special town meeting on June 26th, 2019.
So,
Is-
so to be clear, a yes vote would say that we don't support it.
Correct.
Correct. So, all right, any other discussion? Hearing none then. All those in favor of
Aye.
saying they will not support the article? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, I believe. And nobody abstentions and no negative votes that I saw. All right. Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for this time, we really appreciate it.
Well, no, we're glad you came because it also gives our viewers an opportunity. I know I was at the selectmen's meeting also, but
Yeah,
people just need to get the information.
absolutely.
So anyone that's watching today too, you know,
Very important to go.
it's an important town meeting. And I think people are caught by surprise that we're having another town meeting so soon after we just got done with town meeting.
Right.
So, and that's part of it all too, as I understand it, so.
And we do have a park commission meeting tomorrow night. It's gonna be at the Littleton Police Station in the community room. So if you want further information or have further questions, you definitely can reach out to me, at the office, or please feel welcome to come to that meeting tomorrow night.
Or any of the viewers could call you.
Absolutely,
Right,
that's
okay.
an open offer. Yep.
Open offer to
Phone number?
everyone.
No, you need to tell them what the
Yes, I
phone
will.
number is.
Okay, so the phone number at the office is 978-540-2491. That's my direct line, okay?
Great.
You know, there is information out there
There is
because
indeed.
I got stopped by a couple of people over the weekend
Uh-huh,
after they got the little booklet in the mail.
yep.
And fortunately, I was aware of it, and they were saying, it's so ambiguously written in the booklet, it's like people are totally confused.
I know.
And I said, it's confusing, but go vote no.
There you go. Go vote no.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes,
Have a wonderful
thank you
day.
for coming because it's really important that people understand it, including
Yeah.
all of us, so.
Absolutely.
So that we can help spread the word too,
I
and help
appreciate it.
people understand.
We all do. Thank you.
Yep,
Thank you.
so, all right. Okay, turn my agenda over here.
Might make note that at the selectmen's meeting, you were there, I wasn't, I watched it on TV, but the people who put the petition in weren't available to answer questions.
No, they didn't come, so.
And from my look at the signatures on the petition, they didn't sign it either.
I heard that the person that submitted the petition,
Didn't
Liz,
sign it.
whatever, I don't know her last
Army.
name, but anyway,
Army
she
and
didn't
Tom.
sign the petition either. So, doesn't speak much, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're dealing with. All right, item B on our agenda is to appoint the Affordable Housing Trust representative from this board. And the Affordable Housing Trust was developed about a year and a half ago, maybe?
A little over a year.
A little over a year ago. And Maureen stepped up to the plate and offered to be our representative on that board. I do believe she's interested in continuing,
I am.
so.
We're just now getting underway. It would seem really difficult to leave it at this point.
Well, it's like so many things. It takes a while to get yourself up to speed and understand what's going on so that you feel like you can contribute. So if someone else is really interested in doing this, I'll look around here and see if we have anyone else, but I did want to open it up to everybody before I reappoint Maureen, if that is the case. And people aren't jumping here. I don't see everybody getting all excited, so Maureen, I am reappointing you to the Affordable Housing Trust.
Thank you.
And thank
You're
you for
welcome.
doing this for us. It's a vitally important
It is.
piece of affordable housing for the town. So it's something we definitely have to be around for and be involved in. All right. Thank you. And that brings us to item C, the rules and regulations review. Now, you all received them. They're not in the packet either, huh?
No.
Oh dear, I don't even have a copy.
I'm gonna go get some copies.
Did everyone bring a copy?
I did not.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Was this of
The
the,
rules and
Rules and
regulations,
well, I have a copy of that, but none of the yellow stuff came through.
she's going to get some.
Oh, I have, yeah, I
Oh.
have this thing with the yellow stuff.
We'll take a quick, you received it via
Via
email,
email.
but you just didn't print it out. I don't have a copy. Well, I do have. I do. Not the final one, but. So, while we're waiting for Liz, I'd like to suggest the other, next, one of the items that's on our list here of new business is to discuss whether we would be holding a meeting in July or not. We could have a little, start that discussion while we're waiting, if that's okay with all of you.
That's fine.
It is historically, it has been that the board has voted not to hold a meeting in July and to take the month off.
I agree.
Travel. Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
So, but we cannot do that unless we vote to not have a meeting in July, and then our next meeting would be August 12th in that case. I think we should wait for Liz to get back though before we take a vote on that. She may have a reason she might want us to meet, but I don't know of any. But out of courtesy, I think it would be good to, but I just wanted to kind of bring it up and make sure you all have thought about it, like you haven't. But it's one thing that we can do.
Is there anything else we can discuss while we're waiting? It's short.
That's short. Well, that was one. And
It doesn't require.
Did we get a
us to do it.
donation?
we have a donation, but Liz has that, and I can't do that. She has the check. We do have a donation from the Morrison Fund, and that usually, it comes in about this time of year, and the board needs to determine with Liz's input how to allocate that money and to make the recommendation to the selectmen so that they put it in the right fund that, Liz thinks needs the money. So within the parameters of the Morrison Foundation. So we have to kind of wait for her to come back with that too.
How much do we get?
I'm not sure. I did
Oh,
not
the
see that.
nominating committee can do that.
We can't do that, huh?
No, not yet.
If you have a copy of this, can you read it and we can discuss it?
I
She's
can-
gone to make copies, right?
I know, but
I have the first draft that came out, so I can pretty
Who
well do
didn't
that.
get it in the mail? We got it in the mail.
But they didn't print it out, that's the problem.
But rules and regs have to be voted
So-
on individually.
They do. So we can start it, but anyway, the first item that was added, I'll read it to you, so you'll just hear it. It's under Article 2, and it was the purpose of the council. And this is good, because we have candidates here, and so let me read you the purpose of this council, so that, under the rules and regulations. The Council on Aging, COA, acts in an advisory capacity, focuses on identifying the needs of the senior population, educates the community on issues, advocates on their behalf, and recruits active members of the COA board. The COA does not direct the Director of Elder and Human Services or appoint the director or staff. And we added one sentence to that, and that, right, this is a change that would have to be voted on. We added a sentence stating at the end, the COA board supports the Director of Elder and Human Services in the mission of the department.
Okay.
So, that is the only change in that paragraph.
I move that we accept the statement, the COA board supports the Director of Elder and Human Services in the mission of this department.
I second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we add to the rules and regulations under Article 2, the very last sentence of the COA board supports the Director of Elder and Human Services in the mission of the department. All those in favor?
Aye.
I think that's unanimous. No, opposed? None, and abstentions? None. We just did the first change in your absence.
I have one, thank you. I have one.
I don't, thank
There
you.
you go.
I'm using my rough draft. So, okay. All right, that was, okay.
Somebody close it.
We need to go to Article 3.
I do.
Article 3.
My phone just.
Oh, this has changed.
Everybody got a copy?
No?
Bob, thank you. Okay. So we are under Article 3, membership. The COA shall consist of 9 members who are residents of Littleton, all of whom shall serve a maximum of 3 three-year terms.
Okay.
And that is an addition. No, that is not addition.
The word
It was
staggered.
staggered. Staggered was removed. They have to be staggered maximums of 3-year terms, so they can't, the word staggered is in there now. I'm sorry I didn't pick up on this before. But we have to have staggered appointments so that we're not having a mass exodus of board members in 1 year.
So
That's
you
why the
want-
word is staggered is in
Leave
there.
staggered.
So all of whom shall serve,
Wait a minute,
yes,
I don't know why staggered is.
I don't understand this at all.
Well, that's
Maximum-
okay.
A maximum of 3 terms?
So that means no one can
Three-year
serve more than
terms
9
is
years.
9 years.
three consecutive terms.
It
and then
doesn't say
two-
that.
No, I know, but I'm trying to explain it, so maybe we can word it better than we did.
And what is why is staggered not considered appropriate?
I think that was my
Staggered
error
is.
in taking it out.
Yeah, I didn't catch
Minor.
that.
So it's in.
Leave staggered in.
Staggered
Okay.
has to be in.
Now, what if you are replacing someone in a 1-year term?
Well,
Then that would get to 10 years, correct?
that's okay, but it's 3,
3-year
Three-year
terms,
terms, or-
okay.
Has anybody been here longer than 3?
So it's staggered in.
yes, Mary?
Yes,
33 years.
Okay,
So,
how could that have happened?
because
didn't
there
have-
wasn't any limits.
There wasn't
there
anything in
weren't
there.
any limits.
Now there are.
There
Now
is-
there will be.
New. This is new, okay.
The
So,
maximum 3-year terms.
Oh.
Madam Chair.
Staggered in or out?
In.
Staggered is in.
Okay.
Madam
The
Chair.
issue, excuse me for 1 second, just let me add. The Department of Elder Affairs strongly advocates that there should be a turnover on COA boards.
Mhm.
And in order to have that happen, you need to have some description and some idea of what would be the maximum. I believe Emmett even proposes 2 3-year terms. But in discussion, we realized, the maximum, when you have a board, like right now, we're involved in very important, significant issues between the affordable housing and the space. And we know it's not gonna be done in 2 years. Both issues are not gonna be totally taken care of in 2 years. It's gonna take time. And, it takes time for anyone, as Maureen just talked about on the Affordable Housing Trust. It takes time to get to learn the ropes, so to speak, and all the information, and have it make sense to you so that you can be a productive contributing person. So, yes, Ted?
Yeah, and to add to that, a director, when they're appointed, usually has a 10-year tenure. So a board member having 3-year terms is on the board most of the time when a director is there before a new director comes. So there's stability in that. That was another reason we looked at 3-year terms. Now, you could take a break and come back to the board. I mean, Emmett from Elder Services recommends you get off after 2 years.
Right.
I mean,
2
that's
terms.
their recommendation. But we looked at it in a broader sense and said, okay, if a director usually stays 10 years for stability on a board, it makes sense for a board member maybe to stay the same length, particularly if there is a project, i.e. the senior center. Senior housing is a big issue in this town. I mean, I've been on the subcommittee for housing for 5 years, going to planning boards, talking with Littleton Housing Authority as a liaison. And it's been important that my presence in both of them, bringing reports back.
I agree.
So three-year terms seem to make sense to the three of us.
Well, I just want to make a statement.
That's fine.
You're saying she has a 10-year tenure.
Well, no, she doesn't, but it's usually what they do.
No.
Yeah, but let's say she has a 10-year term.
Yeah,
And you have your director, but your director has already been on for 6 years.
yeah.
She's gonna be off in 3 years, and then there's gonna be somebody else that's gonna take up the next
That
7.
That may also give stability, so that a new director wouldn't come in with a brand-new board, new director, new board. There is no stability. That's why I think staggered is good.
I agree. No, I agree with staggered.
So
Not a problem.
that was the reasoning.
I think it's a good thing, Patty, I do.
And you could add a statement, something about, to the effect of, it would say, all of whom shall serve staggered, doesn't sound right.
So
Staggered
how-
3-year terms. Any member may reapply after a 1-year hiatus, which would indicate that somebody, might serve 3-year terms, step down for a year, and then, reapply if indeed there's another opening and they really miss it and they want to come back. But it gives the opportunity to get, new people into the board, so.
So it
It's
would.
a thought.
So it would say, all of whom shall serve staggered 3-year terms, and then the next statement being, no member will serve more than 3 consecutive 3-year terms? Because you said after the 3-year terms, you could go off and then come back. So it would
Are
be
they 3
not more than
consecutive
consecutive.
terms?
We're saying, if somebody wanted to serve, say I wanted to serve for 3 consecutive terms.
Right.
I mean, I think I was one that filled a year, my first year was filling the unexpired term of somebody else.
Right.
Mine
So
too.
technically, if I've served 3-year terms, it's gonna be 10 years that I will have been involved.
Right.
Somebody else should have an opportunity to,
I
But
agree.
shouldn't it say maximum 3 consecutive 3-year terms?
That's what I just said.
I know you do.
I know you do.
Yeah,
You're
okay.
talking about board
But-
members, you're not talking about the director.
No, we're talking about board members.
That's right.
Yeah.
But, to be very clear.
Say that again.
To have, instead of saying staggered, a maximum of 3 consecutive 3-year
We
terms.
have to have the word staggered.
So,
No,
Two
it said
sentences.
staggered.
two
Yeah,
sentences. All of whom shall serve staggered 3-year terms, because our terms are 3 years.
Correct.
And then, no member shall serve more than 3 consecutive 3-year terms.
Now you make that ruling, after I did 32 years.
No member shall serve more than,
Oh,
3
boy.
consecutive 3-year terms. That way, if someone fills in because somebody leaves, that doesn't count. But
That
then,
makes it
once you
clear.
have the 3 consecutive 3-year terms. I mean, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, and that makes it a little bit clearer. I agree.
Okay, can I have it so that I can write it down?
No member,
Or did you, the first, do you have the first sentence, Bob?
No member
may serve more than 3 consecutive 3-year terms.
Now, should it say anything about stepping down for a year and then be reapplying?
We don't have to put that in, I don't think.
and that is replacing staggered a maximum of 3.
No.
No,
So staggered is gonna stay, so shall serve staggered 3-year,
Okay, wait a minute.
3-year terms. take out a maximum of 3.
No, I
I'm
won't.
gonna start all over again because
I'm going to update this document to send it all out to everyone with the wording that we decide.
okay. COA shall consist of 9 members who are residents of Littleton, all of whom shall serve
Staggered,
Three-year terms.
three-year terms.
Period.
What else we got in
3-year terms, okay?
And that's the end of that statement. Then the next sentence says, no member may serve more than 3 consecutive 3-year terms.
So a bunch of us could be off very quick. Just very long.
Anything in yellow is good.
I know.
Okay, I'll update the actual document.
it? Okay,
Okay, moving on.
do we need to vote on that, please?
Okay, 3
I move-
Wait a minute. 3 consecutive.
3-year terms.
What if we're all going out at the same time?
I move that
That's why it's
we,
staggered.
Yeah, you're gonna be in trouble.
I move that we vote on this Article 3-1
As written.
As written.
as stated.
Okay.
Can we hear the stating again last time?
I will read it to you. The COA shall consist of 9 members who are residents of Littleton, all of whom shall serve staggered 3-year terms. No member may serve more than 3 consecutive 3-year terms. Okay?
Mhm.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
We have one opposed, opposition. Abstentions? None. Okay. So motion carries.
Is 3-1-2 just adding board?
Yes.
Yes.
So moved. Can we vote?
Now, on that one, 3-1-2, members, you're gonna take out council and put COA board?
I know it's service board members.
Isn't that correct?
The first phrase, members of the
It needs
council.
to
Members.
say, take out
Members of
council,
the Council of Aging.
COA board may not serve as insert board
Okay.
members of the Friends.
Wait a minute. So what are you saying it says
Take
now?
out the word council and put COA board.
Yes, take out council and insert COA board. We're not a council with a COA board. And then you're inserting board members of the
May
Friends.
not serve as board members of the Friends of the Council on Aging due to possible conflict.
Good catch.
So we're taking out of the
That was a
council.
little, but, you know, it's stuck out.
Replacing of the council with COA board.
One at a time. Remove
Just take out council and put in COA board.
members, oh, okay.
Is 3-3 a totally new?
Yes.
Is the
It's
question.
an addition.
It's a new addition on the, page 2. 3.3, Article 4, Article 3, sorry, 3.3. As a matter of policy, regular attendance is expected of all members. In the event of absence of any member for 3 consecutive meetings, except for reasons of health or extenuating circumstances, as duly reported to the chair in advance of the COA meetings, the COA board shall request resignation of that member through the Board of Selectmen. On the occasion of 6 absences during any calendar year, the COA board shall recommend the appointing authority dismiss such a member from the COA board.
I move that we vote on the 3-3 as written.
Second it.
Any other further discussion?
I still don't know what you're doing with this board.
This one?
Turn the page.
We are members of the council, which is the Council of Aging, Council on Aging. Why are we changing it?
Members of this.
We're adding the word,
Council of Aging
changing the
Board.
council
Board.
to COA board,
For consistency.
just for consistency.
Throughout the
We're not a
document.
council.
May not serve as a board member, or
That's
is we
we're
taking that
adding-
word out?
No, we're adding the word board. It
So add
always,
that
the
word.
rules and regulations always said that no COA
Okay,
board member.
he just needs to know, we're adding board.
Okay.
There.
Okay, turn the page.
People just do their
Did
homework.
we vote on that one?
What's
We
that?
already did.
Did we vote on this
Oh,
already?
my
Yes.
About the COA board?
Oh, did we vote on 312?
Yes.
Yes,
Where was that?
I don't know.
In the confusion with the rest
Yeah,
of us.
yes. We're on 3-3. And
There is a
we have
motion on the floor.
floor, and it was seconded, I believe, by Mary. Correct?
I believe.
Did
Did you say?
I thought it was David.
Oh, David did, no, David didn't second that. Who seconded?
Well, I'll
Want a second? I'll
take
second.
responsibility.
Well, anyway, it's seconded. Yeah, it's okay.
Seconded so we can vote.
Okay, is there any further discussion about Article 3, 3.3?
312.
No,
No, we're done with that.
We haven't voted it yet.
Yes, we
We
did.
did.
I don't
We
remember
voted to
voting for
accept
it.
We did.
and David
I swear to
said
God
no.
we did.
David said nay, the rest of us said yay.
No, that
That
was
was
the
on
first
Article
one.
3-1.
That was 3-1.
Oh,
What about
maybe you're right.
3-1-2?
Okay, then
Doing each
312.
one of these
So long.
individually, you need to do each one individually.
Correct.
I move that the changes be voted.
Under
Second.
312?
312.
All right. We have a
Second.
motion and seconded that the changes in 312 be made. All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstentions? Oppositions? No. Okay, thank you.
Now, there is a motion on the floor that has been seconded.
We haven't voted on this one, I don't
Right.
believe.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
So this 3.3 is being added to the thing. So anything in yellow is being added.
The whole entire thing in
So
yellow.
this whole thing is being added to the,
And that is to prevent a situation such as we had in the past year when we were down a board
Right.
member all year. So, okay.
has it been seconded? I seconded it.
Yes, yes, it's been
Okay.
moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the addition of, it is Article 3, 3.3. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, and abstentions? None. Thank you. We're almost done, folks.
Article 6-1.
All right, and we discussed this at our last meeting. 6.11, the offices of the COA shall consist of a chairperson and vice chairperson. We are removing "and a secretary." Since we will be having the help of the administrative assistant in the office to do our minutes, we do not have to have an office position on the board to do that. And we all agreed upon that last month.
I move we accept that as modified.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion on that?
Done with this?
No? Okay, all those in favor of
Aye.
removing "and a secretary" from 6.11? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions, all right.
Wait, let's just make sure we got it.
Yep.
Did you get 611, Bob?
Yeah. So removing and the secretary.
We just did that. Betsy, ready?
You ready?
Okay, you can take a vote.
We did.
We did vote,
Okay.
That's this.
so.
Do you have one?
Okay,
Madam Chair,
It's this one now.
a
Right.
point of clarification,
yes.
6-3. Does this mean that only the chair, vice chair, and director will establish the agenda?
Yes, attend the meeting to do that. The director, if you notice, always on your minutes, you are requested to get suggested agenda items to the director.
Okay,
Or
that's,
to the chair.
That's fine.
I was just clarifying that. We will still continue to be
Oh,
able to
absolutely.
say, we want this on the agenda.
Absolutely.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, the agenda always has a clause at the bottom saying any other business, so that that's another window of opportunity. In case,
That was just a point of clarification.
in case something comes up, by the
Does-
time the agenda's posted to the meeting.
Does this mean that the chair, the director, and the vice chair have to all meet to set up the agenda?
Yeah.
We
do
do
every
that
month.
every week, every year,
Okay.
every month.
That's all I need.
Marge may call me and say, I'm sick, you need to cover the meeting, which has happened.
I feel,
She's away.
I feel very strongly about this. When I started, I have always included the vice chair because they have to take over in the event I'm not
Right.
available.
I agree.
So they need to be involved in what's going on.
I
No,
move
that's
that
fine.
6-3, the vice chair shall participate in agenda-setting meetings with the board chair and the director, be added to the rules and regs.
Seconded.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded that 6.3, under Article 6, be added, the last, the sentence of the vice chair shall participate in agenda-setting meetings with the board chair and the director, shall be added. And that is in print.
Mhm.
Any further discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Nobody's opposed, no, I don't believe, and no abstentions. Thank you very much. Okay. We have one more, I believe, two more things. No, one, really.
I move that 6-4 be accepted as it's written, deleting, the secretary shall record the minutes of the COA meeting, and adding draft minutes, and within 2 weeks of the meeting, and approved minutes submitted to the town clerk within 2 days of the board meeting.
Thank you.
Second.
I don't second. I have a question. You're submitting to the town clerk within 2 weeks of the meeting, the draft minutes, but you're submitting the approval meetings within 2 days.
Correct.
You don't want to give a little more time for the final minutes in case she gets tied up and
No,
kicked?
because they should be submitted right after, we just approved the minutes from the May 13th today.
So-
They've been corrected, they should be sent to Diane immediately tomorrow.
But she's not in tomorrow.
She'll get them when she comes in her email.
But we send them.
What if
We
it's
sent-
what if it's Friday afternoon?
Well, that's her problem. What happens is generally, what Diane has done in the past, and now she has a new assistant there, new help. But generally, when Linda Lord was there, she had everything sent to herself and Linda Lord
Right.
as a backup.
Okay, I was
That's
just
her,
questioning.
that's her
2 days.
problem. It's her
That's
office to manage.
Okay. I
And
just
that was what she
questioning.
wanted.
And that's what she directed us to do.
So what this is really saying is that today's minutes will go to the town clerk, the draft, within 2 weeks. But the approved minutes from May go within 2 days. Okay,
From the meeting.
just
Yeah.
for clarity.
Because
There was a
Diane,
motion.
All it's doing is putting in writing what actually happens instead of the
Right.
secretary, it's the recorder, the director
Director.
or her designee.
Correct. There is a motion on the floor.
Yeah,
okay.
second.
So does everyone understand this now? It's a technicality.
It's very
It's to help to make things run smoothly. That's all. To make sure we get it done and Diane gets the information she needs. All right, we have a motion. It's been moved and seconded that we accept it as it is written in here, and Maureen read it, but it's not changed from the typed version. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous this time, I can see everybody. Thank you. So therefore, the last page at the bottom, it says, accepted by a majority vote of the Littleton Council on Aging on,
That's an
June 10th.
automatic.
That's an automatic, change that date to today, please.
I'll
Now,
update this document and send it out to everyone.
we'll send, get it
Thanks,
out,
Liz.
all right? Thank you, Al, I know it was a little tedious, but we had to get that done, and I apologize to our guests. So, yes,
To save time for the director and outreach report, we can just vote to approve those. We don't have to
okay,
arguing.
we're already late, okay.
They did this just because it's.
We have, rules and regulations are done. We have 3 very patient board member candidates sitting here, and we don't, I try to end our meetings by 3 at the absolute latest, and we've been doing well, getting out around 2:30 until today. So I apologize for that, it's not a good way for you to see us in action, but we
You
had,
have to know it.
it's just the way that everything happened with the changes that are going on with the secretary's position and everything, we had to get these things done.
Where are we now?
We are on new board member candidates. So, they have been extremely patient.
Okay. Are we going in the
I-
order that they are?
I'm going to
Alphabetical?
explain, we can, yes, we'll just go in the order that you got them in your, I've taken mine out of order, so.
So my first one is Susan Melander.
Thank you. Let me just explain to you, you've heard a lot, and actually, it's a good thing that you heard some of our rules and regulations, and you understand a little bit about the function of the board. And I did send out, for board members, a copy of the board members' job description to each one of them. Once I realized they were gonna be able to be here today, so they had time to look it over, and told them certainly ask us questions if they had any about the job description. And the job, we have a manual which provides us, it's a reference for us, and that's where our rules and regs that we were just reviewing is. We have our memorandum of agreement with the Board of Selectmen is in here, all of the requirements. You have to do a couple of computer little tests for by inquiry if you're a board member, and some people have done this before you've been involved in boards, so. But the real important thing is that you understand the mission of this board is to support the director and work with the director in any way we can to help her get her job done and to help get the word out to seniors about things, if it's affordable housing, what we can do to help that process. And Liz acts as our guide. We can make suggestions and recommendations and brainstorm with her, but that's the way it goes. So, just want to kind of get that out for you so you understand that, because again, as we were talking when Barbara was here, people don't understand, people think that the Friends is the COA board, and it's just, people don't understand the difference between the two groups. We have the same purpose, though. Everything both groups does is to support seniors. And the Friends' job is to raise the money. They deal with that. It's against the law for this board to raise money. So, that's kind of the big difference between the two groups. All right, now having said just that little brief introduction, we have a series of 7 questions, that's it. And, there are 3 of you here, and we're going to ask each one of you the same question. So obviously, the first person is at a little bit of a disadvantage because the other 2 are going to hear the questions, so, but you have to answer them personally anyway. So it really doesn't make any big difference, a big difference, so. Pardon me?
Do we have to ask each person all 7?
Well, we put them together to use, so.
And are we doing it by date of application?
I think we will just know.
Well, we were gonna do it by the first one in the pile, but
I don't think that, because she's the last one.
Who was the first in your, I took mine out of order. Susan.
Gonna do
All right.
one each, right?
Susan is one, who's second?
Second is Anita.
Thank you, okay, thank you.
third is Mary Patty.
Oh,
And fourth is Marilyn.
Patty. Okay. So I'm suggesting that we start with Maureen and just keep going around and around. I mean, there's 9 of us. And we'll just, no. We'll skip Liz. You get to listen.
Take notes.
So, all right, Maureen, would you like to start? We're going to start with, we just took them in the order your application was in our packet. That's what we've
Susan,
done.
would you like to come up to the guest?
Right. So people can hear you.
Yes.
So-
What's her name?
Susan Melander. You have her application.
I do.
Okay, and we're going to start, we're just going to keep going round and round, with the questions, so. Maureen's going to kick it off for you.
So hi, I'm Maureen, and thank you for considering joining the board. Board members are appointed by the selectmen. Therefore, each board member is considered an employee of the town. That responsibility brings with it an obligation to adhere to various laws as well as taking training at various times. And being on TV for monthly board meetings, do you anticipate any difficulty adhering to any of these requirements?
Absolutely not. I've been on the school committee in Littleton, so I do know about board meetings.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Mary Pickard. How will your skill set enhance the COA board? I think on my application, I put in that I felt I was a good listener, a good communicator, a team player. And those are skills, obviously, that are needed on any board. And having been on the school committee, having served on numerous committees and boards during my career, those are skills that I have used. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, if we had to choose CA services, which are the most important?
Wait a minute, where'd you get those?
Number 3. No?
You have a different, you have something else.
I have a different one.
Here.
I'm always different.
Oh, it's just giving it to you.
Oh, sorry. Anything for attention. When faced with disagreements and contentious situations, how do you handle them?
When faced with
Disagreements.
disagreements and contentions.
Disagreements.
Contentious.
Right, contentious and
Situations.
disagreements, all right. Obviously, listening to both sides and trying to find a compromise to the issues that would be in contention.
Thank you. Marge?
I'm getting there. So, what are your interests with regard to elder services in particular, since that's what we're here for?
That's true. Partly, and if I could sort of say this about myself in terms of why I applied for this. I've lived in Littleton basically since the late 50s, have been in the house we're in since 1972, and my daughter grew up in town. I've been very busy in town with all kinds of things, different stages of life, with my daughter in school, Girl Scouts, sports, yada, yada, that type of thing. And right now at this stage, well, Council on Aging seemed like a good place. I've been involved with the Crafts with the Council, working on that project. And the issues that are facing the town right now, as you earlier said, between affordable housing and space issues and all of those, are ones that I'm definitely interested in helping to solve those problems for the town.
Could I, excuse me, I see on your application, you said you are on the advisory board for the archives at Perkins School,
Yes.
and that caught my attention, since I'm a retired OT and I worked with visually impaired people a lot, so I'm just wondering, if you can elaborate a little bit about that.
Sure. My husband was a teacher and an administrator at Perkins School for the Blind for 40-plus years.
What a great experience that must have been.
And he's retired, and we, as one of our volunteer projects, we volunteer at the archives and at Perkins. And we've been doing that for, 8 or 9 years now, maybe even longer. And they asked us to be on their advisory board, so that's.
That must be a great experience.
Yeah,
I
it
really,
is.
yeah, I would.
It is.
Caught my eye, I was
We-
thinking.
We volunteer once a week at the archives.
Very rewarding, I'm sure.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Great. Thank you, David.
Okay, well, we can segue right into this, because the next question is, what other volunteer positions have you been involved in?
Okay. Phew. Starting way back, as I'm trying to remember, definitely with Girl Scouts in town. I was quite active with that for a long time. The Perkins, currently with the archives, but before that I did some volunteer work there. I volunteered I taught in Acton for 40 years, and after I retired, I volunteered in the classrooms there.
Okay.
What did you teach?
I taught elementary, grades of various numbers, grades 3 through 6.
Wow.
And then after I retired, I was a classroom assistant for 6 years, and then I was a technology support for the classroom teachers for 5 years.
Wow.
Good for you.
They can't get rid of us, we always go back.
That's what you're quite true.
I was thinking about you as she was talking. Because, yes,
No, you're right.
you retire and then you're there.
No, you don't leave.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What do you think is the greatest need in Littleton?
The greatest need in Littleton. Probably, obviously, space is a huge issue in Littleton at this point, for all services, for all kinds of services. And then for each department to be fiscally responsible for meeting their needs and the other pressing needs.
Thank you.
Well said, I think. It's so hard to be
It is-
fiscally, yes.
It is difficult, yes.
Yes.
What are your feelings regarding visibility and presence as a board member at varied senior events, town meetings, board meetings, such as the Selectmen, the Finance Committee, because we're finding ourselves more and more having to go and advocate?
It's absolutely necessary. I know from having been on school committee, it isn't just a school committee meeting that you attend once a month or whatever. And I would assume it would be the same with this board. It's not just a board meeting. You have to, part of your mission is advocating for seniors. And in order to do that, you need to be at either other board meetings or other events.
Third Thursdays. We talked
Well,
about
yes,
that
there we
earlier,
go.
type of thing, yeah.
Another example.
No, yeah, I think you're so right. But
That's one way of accomplishing that piece of the mission.
very important way.
A
Help
very important
Getting
way.
the word out, I think is
Absolutely.
so critically important. And there are many events, let me just segue into this too, that you heard Barbara McCray talk about the first event in September that they're holding. And, it is certainly desirable for board members to participate and attend those events
Absolutely.
as much as possible. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's a great thing because there you can do a lot of interacting with people too.
Thank you so-
If you don't do that, how can you be a good board member and support what the seniors in the town need if you stay at home.
Right, right, true, so. Very good. Yes, any other questions for Susan? No? Great,
Thank you very
we're
much.
easy,
Thank
we're
you for
easy,
the
we really are.
opportunity.
So, thank you very much, Susan.
While we're changing that,
Yes. Excuse me for 1 minute.
why do I have?
Because we have, Patty's term is expired, and this year, for the first time, I've been told we have to include her in the, and make, our ultimate, I have a question here about, we're gonna be talking to Patty. Patty's term is expired and she's reapplied. And so she needs to be part of the group discussion. And the discussion. We have to make for, most of you have been involved in boards, as you said. And, we do need to come to a conclusion and make a recommendation to the selectmen. So, that's what we'll be doing.
We are voting for 2 open spaces with 3 candidates.
No.
Correct.
Yes. Patty has applied to return, and if she returns, that space would be filled, but we still have 2 openings. Mary and Angus, 2
That's if we
spaces.
vote her.
If we vote her, yeah. So,
Oh, he's mean.
2.
Of course, Bob just said that's if we vote you back in.
I know.
She chose to ignore that.
If he doesn't, he's lost.
You'll have to
take over
your position.
Okay. Anita, please come forward to our microphone so people can hear
Come
you.
on down.
Yes. And where am
Okay.
I'm gonna start with you.
Oh, you're starting, okay.
Yeah. I didn't get my turn last time, so now it's me.
Yep, it is your turn.
Board members are appointed by the selectmen.
We've never.
Therefore, each board member is considered an employee of the town. That responsibility brings with it an obligation to adhere to various laws, as well as taking training at various times, and being on TV for monthly board meetings. Do you anticipate any difficulty adhering to any of these requirements?
No, I don't. I'm currently serving on the personnel board, so I'm well aware of the things that are needed to be done and the different, programs that we have to take classes on, and so I'm very well aware of that.
It's just, sometimes people get surprised when they realize they gotta sit on a computer and take a
Code of ethics and all
Code
of
of
that.
ethics training and everything,
It goes on for 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, and you're sitting there saying, why did I do this to myself? But it's only once every 2 years, I think it is, or something like that, so. Anyway.
So now we're moving around this side of the table.
Yep.
Oh, we're going back over here.
How will your skill set enhance the COA board?
Well, I think my skill set is varied in many ways. I've been involved with the town, worked for the town for 35 years. So I'm aware of a lot of the needs in town. And I think that now that I've retired, that it's important for me to give back and to work when I can to help people. I also work on the St. Vincent de Paul committee, so my skill set there works well here. It kind of overlaps with elder services and the elderly that need help.
Thank you.
Hi, Anita.
Hi.
Can I just add to, excuse me before you start, I'm butting in, I know, but also for some of you may not realize that Anita runs the craft group
Liz is old.
for the COA now, and she gets pretty good feedback from that group, people who love it.
You
So,
got a
there's-
date on it?
We go between 15 and 30 people each class.
that's great. Yeah, you get good turnouts, and she does wonderful projects.
Well, it takes time to come up with them, and Mary's been very nice to give me craft supplies.
I've got more.
There we go, see, working together already, okay.
Can I borrow your?
Okay, number 3. When faced with disagreements and contentious situations, how do you handle them?
Well, I would say that I would take a deep breath And I would sit down and say, okay, let's look at both sides and let's talk in a calm voice and see if we can break up the differences and where can we agree and where can we disagree. And it's okay to disagree and have a different thought. But we have to accept each other's, thoughts.
Thank you.
Okay, your turn.
Do I do 4 or
Yeah.
stick with 3?
4.
4. What are your interests with regard to elder services?
One of the biggest issues with elder services, I think, is the lack of housing and the lack of support for elder housing in this town. It's been over and over again that we've asked for it, and we haven't received it, so that's important. And in fact, this week I dealt with 3 people who were homeless. And they were from Littleton, and I had no place to put them. And
On St. Vincent de Paul.
yeah, and that just, you work at that so hard and you say they're Littleton citizens and they should be able to find a place to live in town. And that's important to me. And I think we need to advocate for more. I liked what Patty said today, that there's some units coming in that we didn't have, but we need a lot more.
And it's hard for people, I think, to realize that it happens in Littleton.
It does,
People just don't want to hear that.
it does,
No.
yeah. And you never know,
You don't know.
no, and it,
It can happen to any of us. You don't know what lies ahead.
you have one illness that can cause so many
Yep.
other problems.
So that's amazing. Thank you, Anita. All right, I think I'm up.
Number 5.
I got it. Thank you.
Okay.
And we kind of talked about that a little bit, but what other volunteer positions have you been involved in? And you've kind of referred to some of them, I think.
Well, when I retired, I was looking for something to do, and I went to Tina and asked her how I could help, and I ran the SMOC program 1 year for her, and for the last 3 years, I've been working with the Catholic Heart Work Camp,
Oh, yeah.
and for the last 2 years, Kathy Coughlin's been working with me, and Liz was very generous in saying, Anita, you can do it yourself this year. And it's very rewarding to go out and find seniors who need help. We have a group of teenagers that can help, and at the end, when you see them that day get their services, the reward is huge. I mean, they're so happy with the little things that were done for them or the big things that were done for them. And that's important to me, to help wherever I can to make it easier for the seniors to stay in their homes.
That's a great example, I think, too. Yeah, that's a wonderful program.
It is.
I was involved in it one time.
And then doing the craft class. I like that. So, yeah.
You're very creative, I think. So she finds the most amazing things to do. So.
Pinterest is a wonderful place.
Go ahead, David.
So Anita, as you think about Littleton's aging population, what strikes you as needing the greatest attention at this time? You might have already said that, but that's
Well,
the question.
along with housing, I think it's important that the seniors have a place to call their own. And seeing at town meeting that the $3 million was advocated. Now, I think it's time that, as a board, we sit down and if I were to be on the board, sit down and figure out what everybody in town wants. We could hold meetings and talk to people and see if it's just a senior center that we're looking for, or are we looking for a senior community center? And I don't think that's been completely addressed yet. So I think, with working with the space committee, that's important to look at all aspects.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
I'm gonna ask a different question.
Okay.
You've sat here now for 2 hours and listened and watched this cast of characters around this table.
Well, I'm a character too, so.
Yes, how could you get along with this cast of characters?
Well, I hope I would get along with everybody well. I try to get along with everybody. I'm friendly. I've been on boards. I was on the Conservation Commission. I was on the Park and Rec. I've been on working in schools. I've been done Girl Scouts with Sue Melander for years. And I think that I'm an easy person to get along with, and I would work as hard as I could to help.
Thank you for your honesty. We'd be the characters, I'm sure.
Right.
Okay.
No, that was it.
That was done.
Oh, okay, she asked a question in place of that.
She did, she made up her own, but we need to,
Do we have any other questions?
well, I think
Why don't you
we
read
need to
numbers- read
do number 7.
Number 7.
We have to ask the same questions of everybody to be fair.
As you think about the Littleton's aging
No,
population.
no, the next
Number
question, about
seven.
I'm
7.
sorry. What are your feelings regarding visibility, presence of a board member at various senior events, town meetings, board meetings, such as the Selectmen, the Finance Committee, and other places?
It doesn't bother me to be in the public eye. Those of you who know me know that I don't have a problem speaking out at town meeting or carrying a cause that I feel is important. So I don't have any issues with that at all.
Anybody have any other questions for Anita?
Anything else you need to tell us?
You know, I forgot to ask,
I will behave myself if I become a board member.
well, I don't know, Kathy Copeland, I think, said, is she in trouble again when I couldn't find you
Well,
last week?
Kathy probably would say she's a bigger problem than you know.
I doubt that. But, do you have any questions of us? And I neglected to ask Susan that, so, you know,
No,
No.
I'm fine.
you're good?
I'm fine.
I'm good too.
Okay, thank you. I feel badly now that I realized I didn't follow up with that. Okay, I think we are up to Patty Hunt.
Oh,
So,
we're not doing Maryland.
Yeah, you want to do
we are doing
Maryland?
Maryland.
Why don't we do Maryland first?
Well, I thought we went in the order.
know
You
we were
wanted to
gonna
go in
go
the
in
order.
order.
Now you're changing the story, but I'm flexible. So,
But she's flexible in contentious situations.
we can do that, but you all said you wanted to go according to the order they were in this
I
packet,
didn't.
and
I
that's what I
agree.
did. So, but I'm willing certainly to invite Marilyn to come forward.
Get it over with.
You
So,
gonna go sit in the hot seat?
who?
Right.
Oh, I don't know, we might put her there, but she's got a microphone in front of her. Hi, Marilyn.
Hi, Marge.
And I apologize again to all three of you for this tedious afternoon here. It's not, it is not typical, is it not? I mean, we usually arrive here,
Yeah.
so, trust me.
Usually not.
Going to bed as soon as
Okay,
I sit on the PMBC, so I know how they work.
well, we try to avoid long meetings. So, Ann Lee, you're on.
Hi. Board members are appointed by the selectmen. Therefore, each board member is considered an employee of the town. That responsibility brings with it the obligation to adhere to various laws, as well as taking training at various times, and being on TV for monthly board meetings. Do you anticipate any difficulty adhering to any of these requirements?
No, I've been doing it for years, since I took the school committee members with your husband.
Right.
And still the finance committee and PMBC. So, doesn't bother me.
Great. Got folks that have had experience with town boards.
Which is nice.
It is nice.
So we're moving this way.
Yep.
How will your skill set enhance the COA board?
I'm extremely well organized. Okay, that's one thing. I've dealt with huge events with lots of money and having to track. Have been able to work with lots of groups, pulling them all together to do something. I love the elderly. I love the elderly. I have so much I can learn from the elderly. And they need a lot of the elderly need someone to go visit with them because they're all alone, and they need someone that will just give them a little bit of their time, and that person will learn an awful lot. That's,
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Number 3, when faced with disagreements and contentious situations, how do you handle them?
listen to person A, or A, and then B, and try to make a list of things and talk to them and try to just get them to work it all out amongst them. And nobody should get, you shouldn't do that, because you just need to stay calm through the whole thing.
Thank you. Okay, Mary. Number 4.
What are your interests with regard to elder services?
As far as this, I think we need, well, of course, housing is a big one. I also think there needs to be some more socialization amongst the elderly and for the elderly. You have the same people that are able to get out and go to everything all the time. But there are a lot more elderly folk in town who can't get out, who can't go to these places. I think we need to reach out to those people too and include them in things.
Hope you've got lots of good ideas for that. That's sometimes tough to do. So, all right. What other volunteer positions have you been involved in?
One of my favorites is, I'm a volunteer at Indian Hill for Box Lunch, where the COAs from all the surrounding towns get tables and come visit. You also have a lot of the nursing home people who have the ability, the nursing homes will reserve a table, and they bring, their clients, if that's what, or patients, or whatever you need to call these people, to come, and just to see these seniors get out and enjoy an hour's symphony concert where they bring their own lunch and Indian Hill provides the tea, coffee, and cookies, to me is just phenomenal. That's probably my favorite. I also volunteer in the thrift shop. I'm in the superintendent's office. And I do volunteering at church. My husband and I are in charge of the memorial services at the church. So I think that's primarily.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
You're on, David, I think. I'm fascinated by
I'm
the
here.
Indian Hill thing.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that myself.
Yeah.
My favorite.
As you think about Littleton's aging population, what strikes you as needing the greatest attention at this time?
Okay, housing and some sociability. Those are the two, I think, really, especially the seniors that can't get out, or maybe they could get out, but they're not aware of everything that's going on that they could.
Yeah, it's a big thing being aware, that's for sure. Yeah. You think?
Are you willing to go out at night to planning board meetings?
Oh, yes, yes. In fact, if you get to build a building, I could already be your member for the PMBC.
Okay. Thank you, Merle.
You're welcome.
What else do we need to know about you, Marilyn?
I like to travel.
I knew that.
Well, I know you do too.
She and I have been river cruisers for years, so.
All right.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Yes, thank you very much. This is tough. It is very tough.
Now,
Hey.
Mrs. Hunt.
Patty is,
You want me to take the throne?
would you like to take the throne? There we go.
Hi, Jim, sorry.
Just tell us everything.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you all again in the future.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for
Thank
coming.
you. I'm sorry, Patty, I can't stay for yours, but I will have an opportunity to catch up in the near future.
Thank you.
You're not even gonna stay till.
I'm so sorry, I have a meeting. Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Well, I'm not gonna sit with Aiden, it's dangerous.
Oh, she's so difficult. Ready.
Now, I don't want to be crucified, okay?
Oh, goodness.
Why do you want to be on the Council of Aging again?
Why do you want to return and stay on, Patty? I think if you answer one question, I don't think we have to give you all the other questions, but why do you want to stay on for another 3 years?
Well, number one, having just approved these new regulations, it's really only my second term. Because I was filling a position and then I applied. So this is really only my second term, and I really feel that I can contribute to the board. I think I've proven for the last few years that I can contribute. I'm not afraid to be visible at any meeting and speak my mind.
We see that.
I was just gonna say, we know that one.
But I think what I have to say is for the benefit of the town and the seniors. And if I have a cause, I'm dedicated to it. I'll pursue it. And I will make my opinion known and why. I do my research and I'm relentless.
Boy, you do describe yourself well. Oh, my goodness. No. So Patty,
I'm a little surprised why she has to go through this.
It's a new rule.
Can't she just,
It's a new rule.
Now that Newtown rules.
she just renew it with the selectmen and that's it?
she did. She applied, but she has to just go through this process as the others do, because we
She's
have,
wonderful.
Well, thank you, Mary.
so we have actually.
But Bob said he wasn't sure he was going to vote for me, so I have to prove myself.
Mary, we have
She's wonderful.
3 openings, counting hers, and 4 people. So that's a tough situation. It's a wonderful situation to be in. It really is, I must
Oh,
say.
you see.
But it's also tough, yes.
But no, I would like the opportunity to stay on for 3 more years. I probably will not re-up again, but I will give 3 more years. I would like to continue to pursue and see, maybe these houses really will be built for the seniors. I would like to see something really happen on a senior center
Yeah.
of some sort, someplace, somehow.
As would we all, I think.
You know, before I might not be around. And I think I'm passionate about it. I really want to see something happen. And I just don't want to sit back on my laurels. I'm not ready yet.
Good. That's a good thing, too.
So if anybody has any questions?
Let
Oh, I
them-
get up here for nothing, no questions.
No?
I think we hear we
And I
get the
appreciate
answers all the
your
time.
vote if I get it. Thank you very much.
Wait a minute, Patty,
Patty.
Patty, Patty, Patty. I got one.
Oh, gee.
When faced with disagreements or contentious situations,
Say,
when faced with disagreements
yes,
and contentious situations,
yeah.
how do you handle them?
Well, I'll have to tell you, in my career, I worked in an office where I was responsible for 100 people, union and non-union. Very difficult situation.
Sure is.
And the easiest way to handle that is you put this party here and that party there, and I'm here.
Okay.
Tell me your side of the story, tell me your side of the story. And I'll tell you what I think. And you come back next week, and you come back next week, and tell me it's resolved. And if it's not resolved, I'll tell you how it will be resolved.
Okay. Thank you.
And that's where you have it.
Oh, my goodness.
We knew she was staying.
Oh, my goodness.
This is gonna be difficult.
All right.
Marge,
Yes,
could I say something before we go any further?
yes.
I think that every one of the 4 people is eminently qualified to serve on the board, and I think they need to understand this, and that this is very difficult for us to choose 2 people. There will be another opening next year, because I'm going off. I've served my consecutive 8 terms, and that's why they put that in. But I just want every one of you to know that how much we appreciate you wanting to come out, and it's always great to have good candidates. And it's gonna be a difficult choice for us, but it will be the best choice we can make.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that is, thank you. Well said. Very well said, Bob. It is, it's very, yeah, difficult and uncomfortable, actually, in a way, because, we're gonna take a vote, and we do it right in front of you, because that's the open meeting, and we adhere to that. So,
For how many? 3?
we have, we're gonna keep Patty, we're recommending to the selectmen they reappoint Patty.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Well, we have to take a vote for that too, that we recommend that. But then you have 2 other positions and 3 people, Mary. So, all right,
Who are the 2 other positions?
Angus
One-
and Mary.
Who?
Angus,
Michael?
Oh, Angus's position is still open, okay.
oh yeah, and Mary.
You're right, so 2.
Mary's term expires the end of June, so that her position, her seat will be empty. And then we have had a vacancy all year, so that's,
Poor choice.
so, okey doke. I guess the best way to proceed is we have to take individual votes.
Okay.
And you don't get to vote, unfortunately. So
She's glad she doesn't have to vote.
I know. I was wishing I could trade seats with you.
No, thank you.
So,
It's gonna be tough.
Independent.
I think we'll go back and just start with, and do the same order that everybody came up though, in actuality. Is that okay with everyone? No?
I prefer paper, but that's okay.
Well, I've
Yeah,
asked
so do I,
that.
but they tell me we can't.
I've asked that, we cannot do that, you can't go into executive session and vote, and we can't have a paper vote. That's not an open meeting. So, yep. So, excuse me, does anyone have any other recommendations? I'm just going to ask for a vote for Susan Melander. And somebody, maybe Liz, you can do the counting and the voting for me, since you're not gonna be voting, do you mind doing that? So I'll make sure I'm accurate, or we are accurate. So, all those in favor of Susan Melander?
1, 2,
I am.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Mary can vote?
It's too bad the board isn't 12 members like it used to be, then we could have all of them. Right?
Right,
Is it
but
7?
Are you voting, Mary?
Yeah,
Did you vote?
no.
For who?
So is it 8?
who you, we're voting on Susan.
Susan Melander. That was the lady, the first lady.
No. We're 3, right? Yeah, 3. No, I'm sorry.
Okay, so 8 for Susan.
Okay? You got it? Okay. Here's my list here, so I don't get myself out of order here.
7, I'm sorry, 7.
Pretty sure you want to trust Liz?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay. There's only 8 of us here.
Yeah.
Okay. Anita Harding. Anita Harding, anyone, people in favor of Anita Harding?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. Marilyn. Adele.
1, 2.
Which one are we?
Marilyn
Marilyn?
Fidelli.
She didn't vote for the other one either.
Marilyn? No.
Well, that's your choice.
Hmm?
That's your choice.
That's right.
Yeah.
1, 2.
Okay.
I'm not
Don't we all
sure.
have to vote every time?
I was just
Yeah,
gonna
well, you have
say.
to say, yeah, two and.
Why don't we start with Patty? We really have 3 votes,
Right.
2 for the open runs and 1 for her. And I think I'm a little confused as to what we're doing.
Okay. Well, David, do you have anything you want to
No,
offer?
no, I don't have anything I can offer.
All right.
Sorry,
I
then.
wish I
Are we
could, I already
redoing
did.
this again?
Are we voting for
I asked the
Patty
people
now?
but couldn't have
Wait a
it.
minute.
No?
Get going.
Okay. Did you have anything you wanted to say? No.
No.
All right, we can do that. That's fine. I'm okay with that. We can go back. If
All right, you want to
do
go
that.
back and do it
Abs-
again?
And I will ask for abstentions and negative votes.
So what are we
Opposed.
voting on?
We'll go, I'm flexible. We can do it, go back and vote on Patty first. I don't know what difference it makes, but
I don't either.
I don't get
Okay.
that.
Whatever you want.
I think the vote's already been done.
And we have voted, but we don't, Bob is concerned because we have not, I did not obviously say abstentions and opposed.
Mm-hmm.
So we counted those that were in favor.
Okay.
So we'll go back and do it again just to make sure, and it should,
Okay.
all right? So you've got what you're beginning.
Yep.
Anyway.
First time.
So I apologize again for that. Susan, all those in favor of Susan?
4, 5, 6,
7. All right. Opposed?
To Susan.
To Susan, 1. Thank you. And that makes 8, there's
Yep.
8 of us. Okay. What's the second one? Was Anita. All right, all those in favor of Anita? I did not. Okay, the other.
1, 2, 3,
I
4.
put my hand up.
5.
5. Opposed?
1.
Opposed, 1. And abstentions? 2. 1 abstention. Oh, 2. Oh, 2 abstentions, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Is that add up to 8?
I should have abstention.
Okay, thank you. All right, Marilyn.
1, 2, 3.
Who we for now?
Marilyn.
I'm sorry, I'm going to vote for her too. I think
No,
I'm going to just
Marilyn.
confuse it all.
Oh, no,
Marilyn.
no, no.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Opposed.
Opposed?
You're voting on, I can't hear you. What are you voting there?
Opposed.
Marilyn, if you're opposed,
Oh, I didn't hear the name.
Marilyn.
Opposed.
And ups.
And 1 abstention? Okay, and that's 8.
No?
No, where do we mess up there?
I don't know.
Did you vote?
1, 2.
I did not vote for that one, I abstained.
You abstained.
Who else abstained?
Who else abstained? Ann Lee?
Okay, so there we
And
go.
David, I believe.
That's 8.
I thought, okay, thank you. Okay, Patty, now.
4, 5.
Will I vote for myself?
Absolutely, you always vote for yourself.
So,
8.
okay, so, thank you very much. So, as it stands now, we will, I need a motion to authorize me to, take our recommendations to the Board of Selectmen.
So moved.
Thank you. They will be discussing the COA appointments on the 24th of June, not tonight, meeting 2 weeks from tonight.
Did you give me the 3 names? Mary Hunt,
Patty, Mary Hunt, Marilyn, we need all of them. I have to report on all of them. Anita Harding,
I have the 4 names of who were running. I want to know what the count was.
oh, sorry. Susan, you want the total count, 7?
Whatever.
7 in favor, 1 opposed, no abstentions. Susan? Are you ready?
Yep.
Anita?
That's all I have to do.
5. 1 opposed and 2 abstentions. Marilyn, you ready? Okay. 4, 2 opposed, 2 abstentions.
They all total
And-
8.
Yeah.
Yes. And Patty Hunt was 8. She voted for herself.
Why not?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, I will be at the Board of Selectmen meeting then on the 24th.
When is the meeting?
June 24th, 2 weeks from tonight. No, we're on the agenda, as it turns out, for the 24th.
Are we expected to be there?
Yes, they'll notify you you should be there, and if they have any questions, they can ask you. So all 3 of you can be there, so it's their choice. They just asked for a recommendation from the boards, and it is totally up to the selectmen. You are appointed by the selectmen, so. All right. We did not take a vote on just the July meeting, I do not believe. We discussed it, but we did not vote.
I
So-
move that we do not hold a meeting in July.
I second that.
You second that. Any discussion, any further discussion about that? None, okay. All those in favor of not holding a meeting in July?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions, none. So we're good to go, no meeting. That means the next meeting will be August 12th. I looked it up, in case. All right, we have a donation, before we do the nominating, do you have the Morrison donation? Real quick.
So we received a donation in the mail from the John C. Morrison and Eunice B. Morrison Charitable Foundation. It's for $2,500 in recognition of your good works.
Nice.
Enclosed, please find the donation in furtherance of your mission. I would recommend to the board that we put this to the TRED Fund, Tax Relief for the Elderly and Disabled.
Put it to the
TRED,
Tread.
track fund, okay.
The entire amount,
the entire.
okay.
Want to see me afterwards on that?
So moved.
I don't know what's going on.
So moved and seconded that the Morrison $2,500 donation be given, or put into the TRED Fund. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? None. Thank you. The selectmen need to know that too, so we can take care of that. All right, the last item of business is a report from the nominating committee regarding the slate of officers for next year. You're all cute.
Well, you're the senior member.
You're the most old.
Oh, I am the most old. That is a true statement. I am the most old.
So, either one of us could do it. What do you think?
So before I tell you about the decision, I just want to say that it's a bit difficult when you're asking people, and everybody's comment is, no, thank you, I don't want to do it. I think that for all of us, it's important that we really try and look at ourselves and say, as Patty so very nicely pointed out last month, we needed to look at ourselves first. That having been said, Patty is the only one who was willing to do the vice chair. Therefore, the nominating committee will submit Patty's name for the vice chair.
Is that the only one we?
There's a slate of officers, you need a chair too.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought, and
You have to
Marge.
present the whole slate of officers.
Sorry. And Marge Payne has made it known that she would be willing and desirous of being the chair.
And was the only.
Margins desirous.
I'm
was-
She was the only, right, she
Oh, I
was the
remember
only
that
one.
Sorry.
So
But-
for the nominating committee has nominated for Chair Marge Payne and for Vice Chair Mary Hunt.
Correct.
Thank you.
You are correct, sir.
Would you like to take the vote? The nominating committee does that.
Okay. All those in favor of Marge
No.
Payne?
Now you have to ask for other nominations.
Oh, from the floor, I did not do that.
Are there any further nominations from the
From the
floor?
floor.
She's gotta do that.
I do that, I'm sorry.
You told me I had to do it.
Bob and I looked up Robert's Rules of Orders, yes. I will ask, are there any other nominations from the floor for either position?
No.
None? Okay, there are no additional nominations, therefore, we may
All those in
proceed.
favor of Marge Payne for Chair of the Council on Aging Board signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Marge Payne will be the Chair of the Council on Aging Board. All those in favor of Mary Patty Hunt for the position of Vice Chair on the COA Board signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, and Mary Patty Hunt will be the Vice Chair of the COA Board. Oops, excuse me. And if I had a gavel, I would wrap it.
All right,
Oh, thank you.
all right, we have the directors and the outreach coordinators report, and Liz has been indicating to me that there's not, you have it in your packets.
In the interest of time.
In the interest of time, she does not want to spend the time going over it in depth. If you have questions, though, would you please get hold of her? How's that?
Sounds great.
Because for our guests, she provides us with a report every month, a director's report, and it is in their packet so they can read it. But usually it's figures on the, the amount of rides, the transportation, it's data, and plus new things and lots of information, but we are really late.
Before we adjourn?
Yes.
Now we've got another,
We have another thing?
yeah.
No, she just said nothing.
Outreach.
Well, that's the same.
She just said that we were not gonna do it.
I
Well-
thought she was just talking.
No, I thought she was just talking
about.
about Liz.
No, Nicole's been sitting here all along too, for so long. Does she need to come up and speak?
Do you, no, you don't have to. Thank you.
I'm sure she's just
I'm sure
as
she's trying to
happy.
keep up with their emails on her phone.
Before we adjourn, I would just like to say congratulations on your upcoming wedding.
Thank you.
And that I hope that all your dreams and all your wishes come true.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice, and we have all those goodies back there.
That's
I
right.
hope
Don't
people
anybody
have
leave
eaten
without
something.
I'm going right back there.
I've
Yeah,
got
that's
a
why.
plastic bags.
Oh, did you bring plastic bags? Good for you, Mary. So, do we need a motion to?
I move that we adjourn this
Wait,
meeting.
wait, we just have a motion to,
Yeah, you did.
have the director's report and the
Very
outreach
well.
coordinator's report included in the August reports. We'll do them later. So, would you move that, please?
I would love to move that.
Real well.
You're doing a good job, Marty.
Yeah, I know. I move that the director's report and the outreach coordinator's monthly report for the June meeting be
Tabled until
tabled
August.
until the August 12th meeting.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the reports be tabled until the August meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none. I like that. The ayes have it.
So moved.
All
I move
right.
that we adjourn.
And thank you, a second.
Second.
Moved and second, and then we adjourn.
I
All
have
those
some
in favor?
plastic if anybody wants
we
to
have to
take
vote.
goodies.
All those in favor of
Aye.
adjourning?
Yeah, and someone want to put on the
Adjourn,
agenda for
please.
the next meeting is a review of the nomination procedure, which I would have said before we adjourned, but I.
Are we turned off?